What up, guys, girls, ladies, Lovets, Hoovians, Wilsons, Pickets, Drum Ghouls, and all my favorite people across the United States. That is America. We the people are waking up. It's about motherfucking time. Now, join me on my other YouTube channel, Badwolf Unrestricted, or my other two Facebook pages, The Bad Wolf Unincorporated, The Bad Wolf Unrestricted. Join me over there. Don't be square. Now, as your favorite national born natural, the truth here will not be denied. So, welcome to the fucking Wolf Pack and Tribe. Now, if you guys want to help support me monthly with a donation, that would be ever so kind. Go over to blacksite32.com, and it's a 3-2, okay? Blacksite, SITE, 32 numbers.com. You can either hit the donation button there, or you can go to the YouTube main page for this channel, click on subscribe, and pick out a monthly amount you can afford to support me monthly. Um, I appreciate you in advance. Now, of course, if you guys join, that will go towards, because let's just be real, a lot of people out here just trying to make money. I'm not just trying to make money. I buy books, new books, old books. I donate some of the money that you guys donate to me to help other people, friends, family, people to get back on their feet. We've helped numerous people who were living in their cars and whatever else. I don't really usually bring this kind of stuff up, but the donations have been kind of low. And I do appreciate the people who have donated and consistently donate. But if I had to be honest, once again, we're keeping it real here. We're not sugarcoating shit. It's probably been less than about 200 or $250 for each month. It hasn't been over that. And that's fine. I don't need any one person to just do that amount. A dollar here, $2 there, $10, whatever it is, helps. Not just me and mine, but my immediate circle, friends, and people that I've never even met. Hell, I even donate blood every, what is it, 3 to 6 months. I haven't in the last couple though, to help people out there who I've never met. Help each other if you can. That being said, I'm going to help you guys right now. Let's get into it. As always, your man in black, well, and blue, just a madman in his little blue box. This particular video is titled, or will be, or should be titled, What is the Straw Man? What is a straw man? Getting to know your straw man? What is this all about? What does it really mean, Basil? Before we get started, I digress. I want to thank every kid, child, youngster, young person. If you're watching this, I don't even know how to say this without sounding cocky, but I wish well, one was your age with my intellect right now. Two, I wish I was able to watch this with my dad or mom or anybody, or even just by myself to learn this stuff at such a young age, because this information is what our system, this, I won't say fraudulent, but we'll say symbiotic, vampiric legal system, because there's two primary legal systems, that which is legal and that which is lawful. America, the Constitution is lawful, the real law. The legal system is what you deal on a normal day-to-day basis when you're dealing with traffic tickets and jaywalking tickets and city ordinances. And that whole system has gotten so big and so cumbersome in our lives, Hail Hydra, that we live with it, but we don't overstand it. We're standing underneath it. How do we? And there's no classes, but if you want to learn it, you have to go and become one of them, and then you can't help the average person because now you're part of the problem. So thank you, everybody, for being part of the solution as I take you guys through educational, entertainment, informational purposes only on how to separate the straw man and learn what it is. So in this video, you're going to be learning basically everything I know about what the straw man is. So, with that being said, the straw man. The straw man itself, that term, is really a derogatory term for what should be called as the legal person. The straw man is based on the concept, which they try to teach us in the movie The Wizard of Oz, is that there is a person before us with straw for brains, doesn't think for itself. It exists in a state of needing to be controlled. It's a what the legal system calls a term of art. It looks like a legal it's a legal thing, but it's a term that has been colored. And it's kind of funny that they say colored because actually the straw man doesn't have any color. It's considered a black entity, something that is dead or brain dead and needs to be wielded and controlled. It's also a 14th Amendment US citizen. It's a legal person. Now, what does that really mean? Well, a legal person, and when you hear these things, you guys have to break down what is legal, what is a person. But the short version of it is legal generally means that which can be done, but is not necessarily lawful or the real law in the real world. Imagine the real world and things going on out there, but then you and your family live differently inside of your house. Technically, what you're doing is operating when you're in your own jurisdiction amongst your own family and friends and certain people. And you guys have weird rules. Oh, hey, you walk in my house, got to take off your shoes and your shirt. And then you got to kiss grandma 5 times in the forehead. There's no law that says you have to do any of that shit. That's a customary, ceremonial, religious doctrine that you guys have created. That's legal. And you can do it as long as no one's being hurt or you're denying them their rights in the real world. So, really, what it is, and I'm going to touch on a couple things and bounce around, is that your name in all capitalized letters is a legal person, which is separate and distinct from the living you. They created from the ether, which is the black, which is what, if you believe in God, God created everything from darkness, which is just raw energy with no general light. And these people are pulling from their imagination that black place, the ether of space and time, and they're saying this imaginary something is a something. That is energy manipulation. That is magi or magic, the manipulation of energy. This is also why wizards and warlocks and whatever else wear the color black. They're drawing from this energy realm of nothing and they're making it. You may hear some religious type tones and whatever else in here. Why? Because that's what these people believe in. Don't let them fool you just because they seem professional. They put on their little white wigs or their black robes, because every one of them that are dressed in black are legal corporate energy manipulators. So what they've done is they've pulled a concept out of nothing, their imagination, and they said this name not presents, because that means present, that means living, but represents. What does that actually mean? Well, when you represent something or re-present something, you're taking it out of the current now and you're either putting it in the future or in the past. So your name in all capitalized letters represents you. There's only one of you. Any picture of you is actually not you. Your IDs or whatever else are actually not you. Now, I'm also teaching you this on the legal level and on the energy spiritual level because that's how they operate. But your average judge, magistrate, police officer, postal worker, whatever, they don't know any of this. To them, this sounds crazy. But if you were to ask them to talk to their commanding officer or the manager or the CEO, CFO, or the board members who know this, and some of them may not know all this, they're just carrying on, they're operative, they're just carrying on. But their legal department knows. The creators, the founders know because they based this on what I'm saying now. This is in some of their books that are extremely hard to get. I can only get my hands on a couple of them. Every city, state, police agency, whatever, they all have a legal department, either directly there or they have access to one. A lot of them have gotten rid of them and they outsource it now to save some money. A lot of what I'm saying has been lost to antiquity or it's in their books. So to them, this all sounds crazy. Sovereignty, citizenry, la, la, la. And that's really not what this is. It's the truth. The government recognizes it, certain other agencies recognize it, but the average operative individual, or in this case, person can mean living, dead, association, business, trust, whatever. All these terms can be found primarily in Black's Law Dictionary or Bouvier's dictionary as well. But a lot of these materials have been lost to time and in antiquity. Some of these things were never written down when they were created by certain cult leaders or cabal. A lot of this stuff came from England and they got it from, um, say like the Romans and the Greeks and the Phoenicians and the Mesopotamians. And it even goes back into the Lemurian and Atlantean times. Some of these things, they've brought in all of these things from the ancient times. And once again, guys, everywhere where science and media and mainstream whatever academia anywhere where they tell you there's nothing there, it's fringe, or it's lost to antiquity, don't believe it, don't that city wasn't real or whatever, that's bullshit. Everywhere where they tell you not to look or listen or believe, that's where you should be paying even more attention. See, their beginnings. Who remembers the beginning of the oak trees planted in your yard? Nobody, almost nobody here alive's here when those trees were baby first planted by this person, that person, or it was a sapling or a seed. That particular doesn't mean it didn't happen because you can see the tree. Ergo, we got here. So could some of the rituals, that went along with placing the first cornerstone or the first this or the first whatever, we know somebody built the pyramids because the pyramid is there. But what rites and religions and whatever else came along with it when it was initially incepted, created, conceived, we don't know. Some people speculate about it. Some of the real truth has been kept in the esoteric knowledges. There are people out there who know so much more than what you guys know, and even me. And some of these people bring me pieces of those original meanings, and I give them to you guys here. It's not my job to convince you. I'm not even saying you have to take it as 100% real. I'm just opening the door for you. If I'm talking about it, I wholeheartedly believe it. I'm not going to talk about something I don't believe. So when you were already born into a system that was layered. And in this layered system, there are people who know and there are people who don't know. And if you're in the know, you know. And if you're not, you don't. Now, a lot of these systems, police officers, judges, whatever else, everybody has secrets on their level, but then there's secrets that are above their level. I've hung out with a lot of these people. I've learned secrets and information on so many levels, I can't even talk about some of the things on this platform that I know. Some things you guys have to earn, some things you guys have to piece together with these videos. Some of these things you're going to have to just find people who are interesting and learn some things. But you also have to have discernment because there's a lot of people out there who are, now that they're doing this, persons that are AIs governed by cabal, elite, crazy people against me sharing this information, against you learning what's really going on. But see, the problem is that they left so many clues and so many pieces scattered that you don't see what's in front of you. I could put poisons and toxins, and they're educationally being said already are in these things, in your food, your deodorant, your soap, your fast food meal, water supply, or whatever else. That individually they don't necessarily hurt you, but altogether, or combinations thereof with your unique chemistry can. I digress. Some of this is what I talk about on Badwolf Unrestricted on YouTube. So I'll save that for that and get back to the main focus. So when you were born, the state of, we'll just say Maine, we'll pick on Maine today. The state of Maine, which is a for-profit company that is doing business in the geographical area known as Maine State or Maine Republic, which is you, the people. You people, we, the people, own the land. These entities, federal government, your judges, your police officer, your game warden, your whatever, they don't own the land. They are our trustees. They are there to ensure that this does not get abused. We as nationals, and I hate to say this, have the right, I don't want to say to some semi abuse, but let me give it to you this way. If there's a lake, as a Native American, we all are, another secret they don't want you guys to know, I have the right to fish without a license there. It's my land. I'm a Native American. I'm a part of the Republic. But that doesn't give me the right to just take so many fish out of there that it starts to damage or impact the lake and its ecology because other people, nationals, have the right to get a fish or two out for them and their family. When a game warden or whoever else comes up to you, he's not looking at you because you haven't identified yourself as a national. And some of them don't know this information either. So this is kind of lost. He's coming up to you and he believes that you are operating in one of two capacities, and only one of them he's familiar with. What are those two capacities? 14th Amendment U.S. citizen that he has absolute jurisdiction over and is regarding you as property of the state under parens patriae. You're a ward of the state. You have an all caps name, and you're a member of theirs as a trustee, a member of theirs with the lowest level. Don't believe me? Look up 8 USC 1401A, national and citizen at birth. You get two things. So guess what the other one is? National. Now, if you're in, say, Florida as a national, you're known as a Floridian. Wisconsin would be Wisconsinite. California would be Californian, so on and so forth. A Californian, that term means you're a state citizen. If you believe you belong to all of the, with all the other nationals, all the other state citizens, the Floridians, the New Yorkers, the Wisconsinites, the Illinoisans, the Hoosiers, the Alaskans, If your mind says, yeah, I want to be a part of that, you've elevated, you still have it, you're standing as a Californian. But the next step up that you can choose and bob between those as in will, at will, which is the private side. This is considered the private side. You then elevate yourself to being called a national. These terms are almost synonymous, meaning they mean the same thing. But there's a state citizen, then there's national of the United States. National of the United States can also be referenced as a foreign national, a non-resident, um, a citizen of the state, private citizen, so on and so forth. These all basically mean the same thing. But the government recognizes national of the United States or non-citizen U.S. national. They lump a lot of other nationals in with us, but we are the primaries here. State citizen and national of the United States. 8 USC 1401, 8 USC 1101A 22B. Now, is there a difference between the state citizen and or the national of the United States and the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen? Because remember, 8 USC 1401A says national and citizen at both at birth. So you get both. This one's nationality, this one's citizenship. Are those the same thing? No. How do we know that? 8 FAM 301.1-1 letter B breaks it down. Cornell Law, watched my video when I broke it down. They had the wrong, well, Cornell Law, no, Department of State seen the video. So hello, Department of State. They had it wrong. They changed it to what I said because they had it wrong. Cornell Law's done the same thing with some other things. I don't have time to go through all their shit to fix it. With that being said, we now know that these are two separate things and we get them both at birth. One's private, one's public. So when that game warden, that police officer, that whoever else comes up to you and addresses you because you have not properly identified yourself, because you don't know how, you don't know who the you are, know thyself. He has the right through implied license to believe you're a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You're a member of the state. And you're basically subservient to him. Now, this doesn't mean that because you're a national, he's a national too. He's just in public capacity right now. He is paid as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. And a lot of them don't know this information. So don't go giving them a hard time. Don't be mean. Don't be rude. Don't be cruel, but be firm. Don't jeopardize your life. If you have to, sue them. Now, I'm not saying everybody should go just jump into the water, grab fish, and like, oh, I'm a national, because some people try to abuse it. And that's why they are there. They are the trustees. They are 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. All of these statutes, regulations, those really are for them. As nationals, we overstand the system. That doesn't mean we can ignore the rules that are there because they're good general rules. And if you are, in fact, a national, that means you are operating as a non belligerent, non combatant. You're not a problem. You're not causing public controversy. You're not taking away other people's rights, laws, freedoms, and yeah, that's it. Right, rights, laws, freedoms, not privileges. Those are granted. So yeah. So if you're not doing any of those things, you have the right to do things within reason. The cops, the game wardens, the sheriffs, the whatever else, they work for us. The streets are ours. The roads, the paths, the dirt underneath, all of that is ours. They are there to protect those things and the investment that we, the people, gave to the city, gave to the county, gave to the state to operate on our behalf. We don't work for them, they work for us. But we do, in fact, become a member of theirs if we operate as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen without knowing, and that's what most people do. But as a state citizen, that doesn't, or a national, doesn't give you the right to disrespect them or to damage or to overfish or overdo this or speed or whatever else, because there's a general census that you should not be able to damage or endanger anybody else by your actions because nationals and citizens don't do that. So you waive your right to privacy the moment you operate as a belligerent or combatant or you're endangering public safety or yourself or those around you. You switch gears. You waive or lose your rights depending on your behavior, your actions. If you can't handle yourself, you become a monster, which is a term of art that means human or human being and monster are synonymous in their world. You're a hue man, a version, hue, spectrum of a man being, a hue man being. They see you in a certain light as a man that's a being. What is a being? A being can be anything. And that term is synonymous with the word monster. So upon your birth, because a being can be birthed, a monster can be birthed, a ship can be birthed, and while operating in the public, that falls under maritime admiralty, jurisdiction, and commerce. That's different than equity, lawful, constitution, and private rights and laws. Those are different jurisdictions. Just like in the video I made separating the straw man. The straw man exists over here in the de facto corporate dead world. You're over here in the living constitutional and private world. They've tried, they've at your birth, they when your biological mother and father conceived you, birthed you, that was a living live birth. They created a dead entity legal birth by means of legal art. They created a masked doppelganger version of you, a Dr. Jekyll versus Mr. Hyde, or actually should be the other way. They then, after creating and birthing that entity at the same time of your birth, which it has a different birthday than your birthday. Don't believe me? Look at your birth certificate. It's a couple of different dates on there. One is for you taking possession and your parents allowing the state to create that for you. And then there's your real, actual date of nativity, native, national, natural. These are separate things. So your all caps name, the government on the federal level, they know what's going on. I think a lot of them don't like that to a degree. They're held in place by certain laws and persons above their pay grade. You ever wonder why they're the government and certain police, whatever, they act a little funny? Because they're actors. They put on the acting mask. But what they didn't realize is that above them, there's people pulling those strings ever so slightly as they see fit. Hail Hydra. Because there are people out there who even own the word corporation or federal or drive and driver. These things have owners. These things have jurisdiction. These things have distinct and specific definitions. So they created this all capitalized name that the federal government knows what's going on, but they themselves operate, for the most part, constitutionally. And I hold all of them and any person in the public to their oath of office. Don't get caught up for treason. It's a nasty thing. So this term of art, this creation of legal art from the imagination in their jurisdiction, they gave it certain structures, privileges, a type of right, and a function. Well, when you get the document from the state, not the ones from the hospital, not the ones you can make, the state of Florida, which is different than Florida state, and the state of Florida, which is a for-profit corporation, when they offer you that document that now has an identical spelling as your name, but how it looks is different. Those all capitalized letters together like that in the political maritime admiralty jurisdiction represents you, represents a thing, a dead thing, a legal person. That's why they want your legal name, because it's not you. You are the caretaker or the beneficiary for that legal name, that thing. They created a thing and they named that thing your same name. But how you look at it is called topography. The government doesn't recognize topography. They're not under the UCC. They're not doing commerce, but the state of Florida, the state of Maine, the state of Rhode Island, the state of Florida, the state of California, the state of Montana, they're doing business in the same shared geographical fence outline as Florida State, Wisconsin State, Arizona State, the Republic, the geographical land area that is that. There's two different entities sharing that land. Actually, there's more than that, but let's just keep it simple. The big boys. And then you got the federal government also sharing that same area. So now there's three big guys: Florida Republic, state of Florida, and the federal government that's also in Florida. Each different level has different signifiers, monikers, jurisdiction shared in that area, members of their community, corporation, government. They have their own, they all have different members. And you can be plugged into all of those and not even know it, depending on how you move, depending on your action, depending on what you choose to also plug in, or what you've already been plugged into and you didn't even know. You have the right to be a part of it, any of them, or the right to remove yourself from any of them, or all of them. You can renounce your citizenship altogether, which in renouncing your citizenship, actually, if you look at the paperwork, says you're renouncing your nationality because that's the primary. That's what binds you to the land. But when you remove your nationality, it takes your citizenship away. You take away those two things, everything else is wiped, and then you become stateless. Then you don't really even have a right to be here. Then you're subject to anybody to be captured and abused, used, and loosed. Yeah, I know lose is not a word. I just threw it in there. It sounded good in my head. So your all capitalized name is, in fact, in the UCC under conspicuous format, which states that depending on how, okay, let me break this down carefully. The UCC under UCC 1-201 conspicuous format in the definition section states a couple of interesting things. Now, remember, the government doesn't work with conspicuous format. They acknowledge it in the GPO capitalization rules, but they say they don't go by those ceremonies, those ancient traditions. You see the catch now? Yeah. So the government knows what the states are doing. The states created that to try to stand out and to identify their persons, their legal persons, their members, their trustees, their property, their legal slaves, I mean, US citizens under the 14th Amendment. They're created persons, terms of arts. They're nom de guerre, which means war name. It's Latin because they're warring against you. There's a war going on. It's a silent war. Weapons for a silent war. You read the book, Fruit from a Poisonous Tree. Yeah. Governed by our governed by our consent. No, ever read those books? Probably should. You might be enlightened. Just saying. So many gem drops, so many things just happen there, and so many people don't even know. It's okay, you'll get there. Keep watching my videos. So, conspicuous format states that, first of all, let's back up. What is the UCC? You said, Wolf, the UCCs all operate under the UCC. Don't believe me. Google it. Ask it. You got Chat or Grok or AI or Perplexity? Perplexity. Ask it if the states operate under the UCC. Ask if the government does. It's going to say the government, no. It's going to say the states, yeah. But we're also talking about the state of, which is the for-profit business doing business in the same land that you, the Floridians, you, the Wisconsinites, you, the New Yorkers, own. It's no different than a franchise like Kentucky Fried Chicken. The government just said we're only going to have 50 of these, and then we're done. One for each landmass state that's out there. So Wisconsin state was already here. Some guys got together and said, let's create a federalized type of state, but business called State of Wisconsin. So if it's a state, meaning an association or gathering of what? Of Wisconsinites doing business. But we want to be looked at as a government. So they went to the government to ask them if they could be a government. The government said, yeah, here's your EIN. Do business in that area. The government said that we're only going to allow one of those per area. We don't want this getting crazy. So those are the territories. They're a part of the American family, but they are not intrinsically American. They themselves then took on the names that were in all capitalized lettering to do business as a for profit entity. They created a legal person known as State of Florida. And anytime you see the word of, it means you're not getting the real thing. I'm an honorary member of the Johnson family. Then I'm not really a Johnson. You getting it? You see some light bulbs coming on out there. I'm starting to hear some wolf howls in people's hearts and minds. It's a charade, people. It's a game. Play the game or don't. But you will, because it's all encompassing now. So there is no 100% Batman, Bruce Wayne, clean slate, tabula rasa, Latin for clean slate, program or way of getting out of all of it. You're not. The Hydra, Hail Hydra, is too deeply embedded. The chemicals, the dog crap, and the cake has been mixed in. It's too deep. It's everywhere. All you can do is step around it, but you're bound to step on it, need it, or use it at some point in time. And they know that. That was the point of this back when the District of Columbia was created and put here. Because DC is not owned by us. It's owned by the King of England, the Vatican, and the City of London, all of which you guys know nothing about. And then there's people that control them that are above their pay grade. Families and names of houses and things that operate the way I talk. They don't live in the slave things. They're above it. They created the system for that. They have houses of whatever. They've got crests. They've got all that stuff. They only dabble in this because they've branched it out so far that they themselves get to use it a little bit, but you've never even heard their names, and you never will. Because they own the media outlets and this and that, and they finance the creation of the internet and the this and the that. So These are families and things that have existed before there was a majority of the laws in place. So to a degree, they're above it. Doesn't apply to them. When you created the very thing and then you're above it. But yeah, sure. Listen to the gurus out there who say, I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever else. I'm sure as they hide their face, their glasses and their fake names, and they don't do consultations, can't really talk to them. And some of them get turned, that's part of the game too. If you want them to lose it, confuse it. But some people out there, they see through it. It's like in the movie They Live. If you put on the right glasses, like Dicenian glasses, if you can get your hands on any of them, you'll see the truth. Most of you guys don't even know what Dicenian glasses are or where to find them or what they do. See, when you study a little bit of everything, you learn a little bit of everything. And then when you start to see it all, you start to see how all the pieces are connected. It's one of the reasons why they don't promote my videos or my subscriptions and whatever else. I want you guys to know the truth. They want you to listen to all the fancy, the glitzy, the glamoury, your sexy reds and your, Mr. YouTube guy, this and, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got these Martian mud monkey gurus out here who want to detract from what I'm doing. Why? Why are they attacking me? You must be doing something completely right or completely wrong if you're drawing the attention of big people out there, or so-called big people, little people, really. Either they don't want you to know the truth or they completely, not emotionally, but factually have done the work to prove me wrong and they have not. Ergo, it's emotion. But I digress. So they created a strong man, a legal person, a term of art, an imaginary, pulled from the ether monster that has no brain, and it's a suit of armor that you were given as a offspring, our word, private, that converted you if you fully believe it. Now they can't do anything to you other than put something in front of you and either let you eat it or let you wear it. And then you wear it so long you believe it's you. You're not actually a strong man, but you control that concept. But you didn't even know that's what it was. You thought it was really you. It's not. It's a thing created in an imaginary world that they play like it's the real world. And they will take it, and they do take it seriously. The judge's name in all caps, the police officer name on his badge, all caps. That's a legal person. That's why they're called actors. That name is a fake thing. It's an actor. You're putting on the mask, and that enables you to mine in their hell, in their world, to be a member, to play the game. You can't show up looking like this to play D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. If you're going to come play our game, you got to put the mask on, be that person. That's why a police officer cannot, should not, and is not supposed to put his real private feelings, personal feelings into his job. He is supposed to be this happy go lucky, perfect person. He's getting paid for that. But now the system, these people are so much like, the people are dumb. Just put on a happy face and go do your job best you can. So now a lot of them are in this shitty attitude and whatever else. That's not how it's supposed to be. Every agent out there, from federal agent to a police officer, is supposed to be pleasant and respect you, even as a normal 14th Amendment citizen, if that's the capacity you're operating in the moment thereof. But even more so, they're supposed to be prim and proper when dealing with you as a national. But how do we interface with them? We interface with them. The first thing we go to reach for our driver's license. The word driver is also in all capitalized letters. It is a commercial term of art. It is a part of the maritime admiralty jurisdiction, the political, the game. There are ceremonies and rituals, and the word driver means one who operates a motor vehicle, which also is commercial, for profit. But that doesn't mean everybody who has a driver's license has to do DoorDash or Uber, because a secondary capacity of the driver's license is you using it for private or personal. We won't even say private, personal use. You going from your home to your job and you have a driver's license is personal. It's not truly private. Right to travel is private. Foreign registration is private. Non-resident registration is private. That which is outside of their jurisdiction, even if in the same physical jurisdiction, but under different jurisdiction or registration, not the same. What does the law state? That which is similar is not the same. You and your name look similar, but your real name should always have been your first name and middle name combined, space, house of, Lovett, Lovett house, Lovett nation. As a Native American, that's what you are. You're born in America, you're Native American. You're naturalized here, you're Native American. And you also get citizenship. You've just been using your secondary capacity as a primary capacity. You've been saying, I want to be a trustee. I want to have the I want to have no power. I want to be a member of yours, and I want you, even though I should be in my private capacity as your boss, I don't want any of that. But I want to be a part of that. That's what you're saying. You want to be a useless, powerless, no firearm police officer who can report and say some stuff without a uniform and without backup. All of those entities I just mentioned all have their name in all capitalized letters. Whether the police officer or whoever else knows it or not, they are an actor. They are a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. They are subject to the state and subject to the government. Their control, rule, and regulation. They are the taxable ones. Certain events can make you, even as a national who has no obligation to pay or file taxes, taxable unless you know how to pre-plan the event. So the UCC book. So now that we know that the state of, which is different than Florida state, is a for-profit corporation entity, just like the United States is a corporation located in the District of Columbia. Their guidebook is the UCC. They're all members of it. Now, some people have said that UCC is controlled and operated by Unidroid. Unidroid is controlled and operated by the Vatican. Can't necessarily prove that, but I've made some videos on that. Believe what you will, doesn't really matter to me. We're just working with the end user agreement. Not going to worry about the up the ladder. So if they're under the UCC, then everything you really need to know about how they operate and what they can and cannot do ultimately is then in their constitution, if they're operating constitutionally, because they have the right to operate constitutionally, or which is for nationals, or statutorily, which is the UCC, statutes and codes, rules and regulations. A police officer also may not know this, but they have two modes of operation too. They can operate statutorily or they can operate with you under common law. They themselves are not common law, but they have the capacity to interface with that, you as a national. This is why they've all taken an oath to protect the Constitution. The courts can do the same thing. Almost all of them majorly operate statutorily. That's the problem. A lot of them aren't even taught about it. Why are you taking an oath to protect the Constitution, but you're not teaching Police officers about the constitutional law, common law, private law. If I take a pledge to the moon, shouldn't I know some shit about the moon? Laws, rules, regulations, what it's made out of? Like O3, it's an ore. Did you know that the moon is composed largely of an ore called O3, and that when you burn it, you can burn one railroad truck cart full of it, and it can power a city with clean energy for a year, everybody included. Mhm. Did you know that? I mean, educationally being said, but you guys aren't here for that. That's more my YouTube unrestricted channel, but Badwolf unrestricted. So anyway, educationally being said. So if once again, the UCC describes the use of lettering where if it's larger than normal or smaller than normal, it means something ceremonially to those people who are members of the UCC, the commerce, the public, the de facto, the corporations, the legal, the political. It has meaning. It also states, depending on the color, italics, subnotes, it says all of that under conspicuous format. So if I went to the state to create an entity, I just created a legal person, something outside of myself, whether it has my same spelling of my name, but different topography or whatever else, because their world deals with imagination and legal persons, creations of legal things, entities, business associations, trusts. But therein lies a slight problem because the government itself is a corporation. The United States is a corporation. So they're held to certain attachments as well. They too can float between commercial and constitutional. And their commercial window aspect is what allows for the states ofs to be created. So they're not doing anything illegal. They just made a bridge out of a sub bubble, the corporation, or excuse me, the Constitution. Do you like my kung fu? My Wing Chun is even better. So now, if you look at it, it's a trickle down effect to you and the name that the state gave you in the form of creating a non living thing called the straw man, which is the derogatory or slang term for it. The legal person, the nom de gore, the public transmitting utility. They gave you a business and they named that business your same name and you're using it in your daily life, which is a contractual agreement. And what the cops, the judges, magistrates all assume you are either it or you're the trustee for it. And you're liable. You're the surety for it, financially and physically. But it was really created and supposed to be used the other way around. That when in their world, if you did something, the real you, it was supposed to be your shield and take the abuse. But the system figured out they could make money on it by reversing that, especially if you don't know. Because here's the thing, when you're younger, and this is from their side of terminology in the line, not the public side, or not the private side, the public side. We're working with their thoughts, their words, their terminologies. The moment you became 18, you were out of your minor account, meaning you could not engage in their world sign contracts, do business until you were 18 or over. But also at 18, you were supposed to then declare yourself to be age of majority. Collapse the straw man, collapse the account. I'm no longer a ward of yours. I'm no longer that legal person. I'm doing other things. Or learn, which is what I teach, how to ebb and flow to and fro between the public and the private, private and the public, as you see fit. That's the ultimate achievement. It's up to you. But now you know the game. So now you know every time you look at your credit card, street signs, businesses, and why they all have the all caps, why you can talk about this with an officer on the side of the road. He doesn't care, looks at you like you're crazy. Judge doesn't want to hear about this in court. What he wants is that if you know what's going on and you are in fact over 18, age of majority, and competent to play your part in the game, do the right things, say the right things at the right times. And then they'll basically do whatever you tell them to do because you've told them you're their boss as a national. But you control the straw man, control everything, own nothing. That's on their side of the line. That's debt. And there's also equity, which can be effective if used right. It means this thing actually has value, but their world's all about dead things and debtors that owe, and that's what your straw man is. Do you think these gurus want you to know as they sell you these super expensive packages and whatever else and all this gobbledygook? And don't get me wrong, I sell stuff too, blacksite32.com all day. But see, I give you guys 90% of everything that you guys need. You think they want you to know you're already a creditor? How can they really make you something that you are not already? And as always, guys, with everybody's information, mine included, double check, research, reference, and vet the information. And I'll talk to you guys later.